Also, I'm actually going to set up, it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight, especially because there's a 2-minute delay, but I will try and set up predictions for the finals. Let's see if I can get there. Can I get there in time? Start prediction. Best of 5 ZvP. JimRising versus TriGGeR. Here we go. JimRising. TriGGeR. Submission period 2 minutes. Good luck, people. Place your bets. Best of 5. There we go. Predictions are in. And speaking of predictions, we are also in the grand finals in game number 1, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jaganatha LE, we have the Mexican Zerg player. He is red, representing Timbers Esports, as well as Team Macacos all over the world. Without Monkey, it is JimRising. Not representing Team Exxon. And spawning in the top right, going for a cannon rush, going for a Gate Forge expand, sorry, a Gate Forge opening, we have the Canadian Protoss player. He is yellow, representing Team Alpha X. It is TriGGeR. The Nina killer himself. Here he is. So this was a gate first and into a forge. This is still a cannon rush, it's just less committed, so you can still take out the natural base and also transition afterwards. What's scary? Yo, Jim doesn't see this. He has no idea. He has no eyes. Oh god. So the cannons are going to finish up. Jim did go for a hatch gas pool opening. Aye, this hatchery is not long for this world. Or maybe Jim will be able to defend. It's looking unlikely though, because the cannon will finish up and Jim still has no idea. Oh boy, and here we go. The cannons are up. We got a second cannon on the way. Jim, how is he gonna deal with this? Oh no, the queens are on the way, so are lings. We'll see if he pulls a couple of boys. There are no spines. He's not taking a second gas. He's not taking a roach warren. Very interesting decision so far by Jim. Is he just gonna go across the map? What? He's just going across the map. He's just sending his lings, but there's already a cannon. We'll see what the lings are going to be able to accomplish. Meanwhile, yeah, the hatch is dead. It's just dead, mate. It's gone. Here we go. We have a Baneling. Oh, let's go. Jim is going for a Baneling bust. We have a Baneling nest on the way. Ling speed is still on the way. We got more lings coming in. TriGGeR needs to get behind the mineral line, and he will not. The scout was denied. Meanwhile, the lings are here knocking on the front door of TriGGeR, and he still has no idea that the Baneling nest is coming. Sorry, that a Baneling bust is coming. Oh boy, and here we go. The Baneling nest is about to finish up in a couple of seconds. And the lings are here. They are ready to be morphed in. So far, TriGGeR has been unable to scout. He has no eyes out on the map. The pylon did give vision, so the lings were being hidden in the main base. That's why Jim is currently banking them up. But here we go. Oh, the lings were seen. So TriGGeR, he knows that there is potentially a ling flood on the way, so he's getting ready, and a shield battery does get thrown down. Oh, but Jim is doing a very good job at hiding his lings. There we go. Banelings are being morphed in. Jim, he's trying to be very sneaky right now. There we go. The ling flood is on the way. He's looking to bust through the door and just flood in with lings. So far, the wall is pretty decent. But again, if TriGGeR knew that there was a Bane bust coming, he would get a secondary wall up and running. And he has no idea. Now he knows. But is it too late? The Banes are coming in. Oh god, the Zealot goes down, the Stalker stands strong, Overcharge is being used, but the wall's not a wall, the lings slip in, oh god. Oh god, the lings, they were lubed up as they left, they were full of creep, and they were able to get past the Stalker. GG. Gets called though, and it was not enough, my god. Even though JimRising slipped in, TriGGeR, he was fighting with drones, and with probes, and I thought the probes would fall, but yo. That overcharge was keeping the probes alive. I'm impressed. I didn't think that overcharge was that good. Wow. Mate, what's going on? Beautifully executed there by TriGGeR. And we'll see where the predictions lie. Ooh, looks like the majority of the people, well, sorry, equal amount of people betting, but a lot of the points are in favor of TriGGeR, and mate, TriGGeR is already up 1-0. American hat. I just saw that. I guess, question mark. Latin America going up against America with its hat. But yeah, TriGGeR taking game 1. Like, JimRising was 100% all in, and that had to end the game. I'm just surprised that so few probes went down. I'm actually looking at the replay on stream because, you know, I'm ahead by 2 minutes, to see how the fight went between the probes and the zealots. Sorry, the lings. But here we are, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide LE. We have, as I quickly set up the scores, my apologies, we have the Mexican Zerg player. He is red, representing Timbers Esports. It is JimRising. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the Canadian Protoss player. He is yellow, representing Team Alpha X. Already up 1-0 in this best of 5. It is TriGGeR. Looking to trigger his opponent. As we do have a gateway being thrown down. No forge this time. And yeah, TriGGeR getting a very cheeky win there in game number 1. Apparently Jim didn't realize he was allowed to send the links into the main. He didn't know. He thought he had to fight within shield battery range, mate. Meanwhile, yo, TriGGeR is trying to fake him out. Oh, even forces a drone to be pulled. Yo, it's working. Jim, a little bit on edge. The fear of the Protoss is in him. And I completely understand. I'm with you, Jim. The fear is real. But we are on Romanticide. And something that is important to note, these two have played each other in the past. And TriGGeR has come out on top. And you know what it was with? Double Stargate Void Ray. And I like how someone pointed out in the chat. Someone said, yo, TriGGeR isn't going to mess around like Parker Mike. Let me reiterate if you weren't here for the previous semifinals. If Parker Mike didn't meme up with Tempest, I do think that Parker Mike was favored against JimRising. 100%. Parker Mike, like, he's such a good player and he could have done it. And as people are saying in the chat, like, TriGGeR, he's not the kind of player to go fast feed beacon into Tempest. That's not what he does. If TriGGeR just goes double Stargate Void Ray and just goes for a more standard late game Protoss style, I favor TriGGeR, not so much Jim. And I just realized I still haven't set up the team. God damn it. Timbers Esports, please. There we go. It is correct now. It'll be there for game number 3. Meanwhile, we do have TriGGeR going for this Stargate opening, which is what we would expect. But we'll see what he goes for after this. Will he go for a second Stargate, or will he just transition into Glaive Adepts? It is something that has fallen out of fashion. We don't see too often, to be honest. So I'll be surprised if we do see it. Meanwhile, your 4 Lings do slip into the main base, and he does force the probes off the line. At the same time, the Adept is across the map and has already gotten 2-3 drone kills. So the real question is, who comes out on top? Jim, who didn't kill any probes, but forced a lot of lost mining time, or TriGGeR, who killed 3 drones, and forced 2... Oh my... No! Oh, okay. I thought it was unintentional. I mean, Jim scouted the Stargate, so might as well. as Jim did morph a couple of the drones into spores because they were being attacked by an adept, and he decided to let them finish. You know, why cancel them when you have to make them anyway? Thankfully, Jim, he's ready for the Stargate play. Oh boy. And the first Void Ray is out. We do see that a second Void Ray is on the way, so it is not going to be Void Ray straight into Oracles, which is what, you know, a couple of players have been doing. Instead, it is double Void Ray, and there it is. Instead of going double Void Ray, sorry, double Stargate, he is going a Stargate into a Twilight Council. So I am really curious to see how TriGGeR plays this out. He could go for a Warp Prism and then work on Glaive Adepts, or he could just go for charge. We'll see. He could even go for a Dark Shrine, and, you know, use that Warp Prism to warp in DTs across the map. A lot of options are available for TriGGeR. We'll see, as right now the Lings of Jim are kind of dancing around the bases, trying to find some damage. Pokes in, gets a worker here and there. Gets one probe so far. Almost a second. Oh, 2 probes. Pretty good. Nicely done there by Jim. Meanwhile, Jim is throwing down a Roach Warren as well as an Evo Chamber, so looking to get into some upgrades, maybe look to hit some kind of +1 timing. I mean, his creep is already being spread towards that southern half of the map. And there it is. Yo, we have an old school charge all in on the way. 8 gates are being thrown down. Charge is on the way. 0 gas is being mined right now in the main base. No gas here at the natural. Really, I should have been paying attention to the gas count to get an idea of what TriGGeR was doing. And this is scary because Jim, he lost all his overlords. He cannot get into the main base to scout, and this will kill him if he doesn't see it. Oh, the Lings, they get in. Oh my god. How did this happen? The Lings get into the main base. He is going to see everything. He sees 3 gates. He sees the gates to the right-hand side as well. He sees 0 gas mining. He knows. He should know. He is good enough to know that a charge all-in is on the way. But is it too late? Because the Warp Prism is already across the map. The charge is also being warped in. What do we have to defend? We have Queens on Lings. We don't have any Roaches. We have 7 Roaches on the way, but they're not ready. Oh god, they're not done quite yet. Transfuses are going down. The Queens are standing strong for now, but one of the Queens will fall. And now the Zealots are in the mineral line. And there is nothing to stop this Warp Prism as another wave of Zealots are coming in. The drones are falling. Oh my god, everything at the 3rd base went down as well. The Roach Warren gets picked up because it was exposed, and now the Zealots are rushing on in. GG gets called, and TriGGeR takes game number 2. Wow. I mean, Jim, he scouted it in the end, but it was too late by the time he scouted it. Like, he needed to get into the main base to see what TriGGeR was doing. It is so important, especially when it comes to a charge all-in, to get eyes on that, to work on Nubatized Carapace, to get an overseer, to dive into the main base and see what your opponent's doing, otherwise you're just dead, mate, as we just saw. It doesn't help that Jim was going for a Spire. My god, as we are getting ready for game number 3, and Jim is struggling right now. He's in a rough place, but he's here. He's gonna play his heart out. Will it be enough? Oh boy. Here we go. Game number 3, potentially the final game of the tournament. This could be it. It could be a 3-0. My god. And here we go. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of 2000 Industries ALE, we have the Canadian Protoss player. He is full of that youth juice. This is his first year competing against all these other old school players, and he is doing so well. It is, of course, representing Alpha X, TriGGeR. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the Mexican Zerg player. He is representing Team Timbers Esports, as well as the land of Mexico. It is JimRising. Jim, he's been around for a long time. He's been around since nearly the beginning of StarCraft 2. Could have even been around since the beginning of StarCraft 2. I remember back in the day, like 2014, he was like joining Root Gaming. I remember no, I think it was 2016, 2015 maybe. He was like spending many years, like he wanted to be on Root for a long time. Eventually he did join, Cats let him in, and JimRising took his first steps at really breaking through and becoming a pro player. Eventually, he did switch into a streamer, but regardless, Jim is one of the best Zerg players in the Latin American region. Sure, you have players like Cham who really outshine him, but outside of Cham, like Jim, you could argue that he's the fourth best player in the region. There's kind of like some competition between Jim and Eric, and mate, Jim is struggling against TriGGeR right now. Oh my god. Can he even put a point on the board? TriGGeR's already up 2-0. And here we go. TriGGeR hasn't even shown his final form. TriGGeR started with a cannon rush, and then a 2-base all-in with charge. Sorry, a 3-base all-in. It was a charge all-in regardless. TriGGeR, he can still go late game. He can still go double Stargate Void Ray if he wants to. He can do whatever he wants. Wait, he's got the freedom. He can do it. The real question is, what will Jim do? What will he be reduced to? As he takes 2 gases here at the natural base. Interesting, he does cancel one of them as he was supply blocked there, going for a bit of an extractor trick. Yeah, there it is. Beautiful. And we'll see what the plan is here for JimRising. He is going for his 3rd base at a pretty regular time. It is a little bit late, but you know, it's fine. It's still at around 32 supply, as opposed to the regular 30. And we'll see if he goes for, like, again, against Paco Mike, he went for things like a Nidus, he went for things like Mutas as well, or he was, to be fair, he was trying to go for Mutas in game 2. That's what he's known for. But Jim, he just can't get into his own game. This map looks big. I haven't seen it before, or seen it once. It is quite big. When it comes to the newer maps, it's quite large. I don't know if it's as large as Beckett Industries, but I hope we do see some nice, juicy, longer games on a map like this. I say that, Jim's going for a Bane Bust. We have a Bane Nest on the way, we got nothing but Lings on the way. Jim, he has not droned up at all. He's stuck at 22 workers, and that is it when it comes to drones, as he is Ling flooding across the map. Meanwhile, the Lings actually make it into the natural base. Yo, there is still no wall, and Jim, is he gonna sneak? Is he gonna sneak out a win here? Because if he depowers everything, oh my god. The pylon goes down. He doesn't even need Banelings. He didn't even need the Baneling Nest because the Lings are just doing so much damage. Oh my god, eventually everything will get cleaned up, but right now TriGGeR needs to wall off. As we still have nothing but Lings on the way for Jim, and what's scary is that TriGGeR has nothing out on the map. He has no idea. In his mind, oh, Jim's just running up from here. Right? Question mark? He doesn't know that there are Lings on the way. He doesn't know that Banelings are about to be morphed in. And Jim is looking to bust his opponents. Oh, this probe. Yo, this probe is key. Will he see it? Will he see it? Oh, he gets a glimpse. But does he actually see it as the Lings are here to take out the 3rd base? No cancel. It was a kill. The Banelings are coming in. TriGGeR sees it. He's trying to wall off with the Cybercore, but it doesn't have enough health. The Cybercore goes down, the Lings flood in, the Banelings are in. The Void Rays are target firing the Banelings, which is pretty big, but the Lings are the problem because they get into the mineral line, there are no shield batteries, and the probes will start to fall. Again, nice target fire with that Void Ray, but without a wall, like, there's just nothing to stop these Lings from going into every single base. 16 probes are going down, and Jim, he can just keep going from here. Ugh, I don't know about Morphean Banelings in the main base, but we'll see. It may not even matter as the Lings and 2 Banelings get into the mineral line. Again, a nice target fire with the Void Rays. Yo, TriGGeR is on point with focusing down those Banelings. I don't think there's been a single juicy Baneling connection, but at the end of the day, there are enough Lings to just take out the majority of this probes. Only 10 probes remaining, and the Ling flood doesn't stop. Mate, I was worried for Jim. I thought he would go out with a whimper, 3-0, but it's JimRising we're talking about here. He has no fear. He isn't afraid to go for an all-in like this, and he just Ling Banes it up, and with this, he should take the game because TriGGeR is down to 6 probes. This is it. This is all he's got. And it's not like TriGGeR has like a Dark Shrine or anything behind this. He doesn't have anything to like counterattack across the map and end the game. He has 2 Void Rays, and that's it, and he needs them to defend. Oh boy. And with this, I mean, TriGGeR is still in the game, but is he really still in the game? Not really. He's going across the map with 2 Void Rays, and this is his only chance to get back into this. These Void Rays have to kill 20 workers. Maybe 15. And then he'll be okay. What is there to defend? There are no queens, so maybe he can deal some damage, but the first queen is about to pop out. Yo. There we go, there we go. The queens are coming in here from the 3rd base. I was wondering where the queens were, but they are here to defend. And with this, the queens will be able to push away the Void Rays. TriGGeR is dealing a lot of damage, but it shouldn't be enough. No way is this going to be enough. At the same time, the Lings are counterattacking. They will not be able to break through because of the shield battery. Overcharge is available as well. Yo, but the gateway's going to go down. Overcharge a little bit too late there. And the Lings get into the main base. More probes will fall. The Void Rays are dealing some damage across the map. Part of me wants to believe, because honestly, JimRising isn't that far ahead in terms of workers. Sure, he has double the worker count, but it's not that much. I don't know. Props to TriGGeR for staying in this, but a lot has to go his way to get back into this. Like, he's kept both Void Rays alive at least, which is great. You know, he can pick off a free Overlord here and there. But once these spores kick in, like, Jim is better than that, right? Like, he shouldn't lose to 2 Void Rays. That's impossible. That's that's not gonna happen, right? Right? Yeah. There we go. Pushes the voids away. Oh boy. Creep is being denied. I mean, all right. So okay. Let's take a step back here. So TriGGeR, he's down 10 plus workers. Doesn't matter. We're talking about Protoss here, right? He's pumping out more Void Rays. If he's able to keep his Voids alive, maybe. Oh my god, but the Void Rays, they get surrounded. One Void Ray does fall. Meanwhile, we do have a couple of Adepts in the 3rd base of Jim, but the Adepts, they get surrounded. They get a handful of worker kills, but is it really worth the cost of losing a Void Ray like that? I'm sure TriGGeR was hoping. He was hoping that maybe either the Adepts would draw the attention of the army or the Void Rays would draw the attention of the army. But instead, JimRising was able to split up his army beautifully, was able to defend in 2 places at once. And yeah, he holds. Yo, can TriGGeR harness the power of Protoss? I'm so skeptical right now. Like, let's be real here. But can he do it? Not if he loses this Void Ray. Oh no. Almost. The Void Ray does manage to just barely. No! TriGGeR, please. Calm yourself. Oh boy. As TriGGeR is stuck on 2 bases, he's working on a Robo, working on more Void Rays. Void Rays are good. They're not that good, right? He can't get back into this, right? We'll see, because Jim, he's working on a massive roach push, even has a couple of dropper lords, maybe looking to go for a bit of a quote-unquote German taxi, filling up those dropper lords with the queens, because why not? Get up in there. Go for it. Huh. 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 Let him in. Let him in. There we go. Let's go. The only way TriGGeR holds here is if he focuses down this dropper lord and kills the queens before they drop. Then the Void Rays will actually defend against the roaches. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. As TriGGeR is attempting to expand, take another base, but the push is coming in. Thankfully for TriGGeR, this observer does spot the army, so TriGGeR's like, oh my god, okay, he's here. I need to warp in as much as I can. I need to consolidate my army. I need to throw down some shield batteries. Yo, Jim pulls back. Or does he? I don't even know what's happening anymore. He gets another round of queens in. There are already 3 queens here across the map. We got a spire on the way for mutas or corruptors. Help me out, chat. Like, is there a world where TriGGeR holds? Here we go. Roach Ravagers coming in. We have 7 queens. 7 queens. 7 queens should be able to take out 4 Void Rays. Should. Disruptor is here. Yo, the Disruptor shot is pretty big. Already half the roaches do go down. The Void Rays are coming in. They're trying to hold. The Biles are landing, and they do land. They take out the lone shield battery in the natural. And even though that Disruptor shot was massive for TriGGeR, it should not be enough. The Queens are pushing on in. The Roach Ravager are pushing in as well. That Disruptor, it wants to get another shot off, but GG gets called. And JimRising puts a point on the board. He had to work for it. He worked pretty hard for it, but he finally gets it. Not gonna lie, I was pretty worried. I was pretty worried for Jim. The supplies were closing. TriGGeR's Protoss. But in the end, Jim didn't let it slip away. Jim does get a point on the board. Thank God. I was worried. I was worried there for a minute. For a second. But we are getting into game number 4. And maybe this is the beginning of a comeback. Maybe JimRising will get a little bit of momentum. I wouldn't be surprised if JimRising goes for another all-in. Like, this game, for those, it happened like 10 minutes ago. But JimRising opened up with a Ling Bane all-in, with a Bane bust. Do it again, why not? Or something similar. I don't know if JimRising wants to get into the late game with TriGGeR. But the gloves are off, mate. Jim's like, yo, you cannon rush me? I Bane bust you, mate. Let's go. We're getting down and dirty in this series. Meanwhile, thank you so much, Acer Daniel, for the follow. Gah! Thank you so much for redeeming as well, that guy. My throat cannot handle that right now. But Acer Daniel, perchance, are you Acer Daniel for... are you a fan of Team Acer back in the day, question mark? Is that where that name comes from? Boy. But we are getting into game number 4. There's some banter in the chat. We're like, yo, where's Jim? And TriGGeR's like, Jim is taking a bath to wash off that cheese because of how dirty he is. And Jim's like, what are you on about? You cannon rushed me in game 1. And TriGGeR's like, what? It was macro cannon. It was macro cannon. JimRising's like, mate, don't even. Is there a shower emote in game? There is not. I'm disappointed. TriGGeR made that way closer than expected. I mean, he didn't bring himself back into it, but he was close. He was getting there, honestly. Where's Canada? What? Where's what? There it is. Huh. As we are getting into game number 4. Come on, Jim, protect my channel points. Sando, please. Also, welcome, Lord Loken. Welcome to the stream. I feel like I very rarely see you in the NA streams nowadays. More often in like GPO and DemiC Weekly. But welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good time. As we are getting into game number 4 between these two players in the grand finals of Battle of the Americas, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Canadian Protoss player. He is yellow, representing Team Alpha X. It is TriGGeR. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Beckett Industries LE, we have the Mexican Zerg player. He is representing Timbers Esports. It is JimRising. Finally putting a point on the board. Oh boy. I am going to have to get a cup of tea after this. Do I have honey? Maybe. We'll see. I think I have honey. Definitely going to need it for the rest of the day. Because for those wondering, this is not our last broadcast of the evening. Straight after this event, we will be casting ESL Open Cup Asia in their brand new Sunday time slot. So there is no break here for the CranKy Ducklings. Thankfully, in ESL Asia, I will be joined by Yaku of the Zaku himself, so I wouldn't have to solo cast that. Much love to Yaku. And so far, things in this game, things in this game have slowly been kicking off. You know, nothing too crazy, no cannon rush or anything like that. Ooh, back in the day when they had MMA, true. Yo, Acer back in the day, that was the team to follow. Acer had Scarlet, Bly, I believe they had, not Nurture, the other one, Paranoid. They had MMA, they had Innovation. Of course, I'm well versed with them, as we were Axiom, we all started off in the CranKy Ducklings. We all started off as Axiom fans back in the day. And Axiom Acer, of course, competed in GSTL. I remember tuning into GSTL Live, the finals. Axiom Acer versus Azubu. Oh god, that was such a good series. It all came down to the ace match. Supernova came out as the ace player against Innovation. Oh god, that was such a good series. But enough reminiscing about the past. We are here in the now, in the present, and so far, so standard. TriGGeR is going for a Stargate opener, which is what we expect. The real question is, what does he go after this? Will he go for double Stargate? Will he go for another Twilight Council? I doubt we are going to see a charge roll in, but we will see. Meanwhile, JimRising, a lot less aggressive this game. He is playing this a lot more standard. He's getting a third base. He's actually joining up. And with this Overlord, he will be able to dive in and see the opening for TriGGeR. Meanwhile, ooh, it does look like this Adept will get surrounded by the Lings of Jim. A nice pick off capturing said Adept and being able to pick it off there. Only 2 drones going down. And the Overlord does dive into the main and he sees everything. He sees everything in the natural. He sees the Void Ray on the way as well as that Stargate opening. Oh boy. And we'll see where things go from here. Jim making a wave of Lings, looking to maybe apply some pressure and deny the 3rd base. At the same time, we do see he's working towards the lair as well as an Evo chamber. Ooh, interesting. We'll see if he even goes for a Roach Warren. If he does, the Roach Warren does seem to be a little bit late. Could be looking to go straight into Hydras instead. We shall see, as so far this wave of Lings are rushing across the map. It does get spotted by the Void Ray in the center as JimRising is trying to break through the natural base. Yo, where is the wall? Mate, get a shield battery here. Oh, okay, the Adepts, they do come in. A shield battery was not needed as the Lings get pushed away. And so far, so good by TriGGeR. Honestly, this massive wave of Lings, like this massive investment by JimRising has achieved nothing. My god. And the Lings are slowly trying to get into the main base again. Yo, the Stalker will go down, but here we go. We do have a warping behind it. TriGGeR does hold on. At the same time, an Oracle dove into the 3rd base, was able to kill 3 drones. Oh, things looking a little bit scary there. JimRising, he is applying a lot of aggression with his Lings, but he just hasn't really been able to find any damage with them. At the same time, Jim is going for that Roach Warren. It is, I was a little bit concerned for it being a little bit late, but that's because he was prioritizing being aggressive with Lings first before producing any Roaches. As we do have +1 range on the way, JimRising looking to be, you know, to rely on Roach Ravager to begin with for now, as well as Lings, and obviously you can deal a lot of damage with them. We do see TriGGeR doesn't go for double Stargate. Instead, he is focusing on a ground army after the initial Void Ray, which honestly I do like. Once again, Jim is here. You know, he wants to get into that natural. One day he'll get there. Meanwhile, Getcha in the chat, I didn't know they moved Asia Cup to Saturday night. They did. The reason why ESL moved the Asia Cup to Sundays or Saturdays or whatever it is in NA, it's Sunday here in Australia, but they moved it because it was clashing with GSL. And GSL is on Mondays now, which is usually when ESL Open Cup Asia is, and they were clashing. Of course, Africa, they didn't care. You know, they set the GSL days whenever they want, so ESL was forced to move their Open Cup to Sunday instead. Sunday in the Southern Hemisphere. Meanwhile, would you see Jim is going for the German taxi? He's pushing across the map with his Roaches. +1 is already done, and what's important is that +1 range will not just affect the Roaches, but will also affect these Queens, as the Queens will be dropped across the map to help support the army. Ooh, nice stasis by TriGGeR, does catch the majority of the Lings. Meanwhile, yo, TriGGeR, he only has 1 shield battery here. This is worrisome. He does not have a lot here to defend, as Jim is pushing on forward. Overcharge is forced to be activated by TriGGeR, and he is trying to break the defenses or the army of Jim, but Jim just has so much transfuse energy. The energy is running out. The biles do land on the shield battery as the shield battery does fall. Oh god, and does Jim have enough? Oh my god, the Void Ray does get biled down by the Ravagers, and it just doesn't seem like there's enough Protoss. The Roach army is pushing on through. There's a massive warp in of Zealots, and they don't get biled down. And yo, with these Zealots, it looks like TriGGeR, does he have enough? Can he push Jim away? There's only 1 Queen left. It's only Roaches, but Jim, he is just rallying across the map, and it looks like he has too much. The Archons fall. The Zealots are not enough. Sure, a handful of warping in here and there, but Jim, he just has so much Roach Ravager. The German taxi shows up here in the land of Mexico, and Jim, he's able to break TriGGeR at the 4th base, sorry, at the 3rd base, take out all the workers, take out the Nexus, and Jim, he's just pushing on forward, looking to win the game. Look at the differences in army supply. TriGGeR, he's got barely anything left. TriGGeR, he was not expecting this attack. He was unable to scout that this was coming. He didn't know it was coming until it was at his front door. And with this, again, things were looking really strong for TriGGeR in the beginning of the series. But Jim, he is bringing it back with these aggressive plays, looking to tie up the series. He is not going down without a fight. Ooh, the bios are landing. TriGGeR is doing a really good job at dodging them, but Archons can only tank so much. And the Archons are falling. All 4 of the Archons do fall, and Jim, he breaks through the wall. Sure, there's an Immortal, but the Immortal is not enough. As JimRising breaks into the natural, and with this, like, TriGGeR, are you really going to try and hold on one base? Is that the plan here? Oh god. He's trying his best. He's microing his heart out, trying his best to focus down as many Ravagers as possible. But mate, JimRising cannot be stopped. Jim is rising, and he will be rising into the ace match as the biles do land and the Nexus goes down. GG gets called. We're going into game 5. Wow, and this time it worked. It worked out for Jim. And honestly, I'm curious to see what the last map will be. So, to bring things into perspective, JimRising going for a push like that, it hits harder on Beckett Industries. I believe Beckett Industries was the map that we were on, because Beckett Industries has the shortest rush distance, is the shortest rush distance map in the map pool. It is the new submarine, for those wondering, due to the speed zones, due to the nature of the map itself. So JimRising, he hits hard. This hits as hard as possible on this map compared to any other map. So that was really well done by Jim. Will that work again on another map? Unlikely. Unlikely is what I would say, but we'll see. We shall see. Ooh. As we are loading in to Blackburn. Oh boy, here we go. The final map here of the night. Not gonna lie, I was hoping, I had my fingers crossed for a 3-0, just so I would have time to have some breakfast and have some water and set up for the stream. But it has gone all the way to the ace match. All 5 games have been played out, will be played out. And we'll see who comes out on top here. Is it going to be Latin America with JimRising, or North America with TriGGeR? We will find out here and now, as spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the Canadian Protoss player. He is yellow, representing Team Alpha X. It is TriGGeR, the young blood himself, full of that youth juice. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the pro streamer, the pro gamer, the Mexican Zerg player representing Timbers Esports and Macacos all over the world. It is JimRising. Jaime Durana Silencio himself. Can he do it? Can he bring it back? He was down 0-2. Can he make the reverse sweep happen? Is the big question. It is one of the most difficult things to do. The mental fortitude you have to remain calm and collected and bring yourself back from devastation. Mate, he's doing it. He's on the path. He's on the road to victory. Or will he be stopped by the Canadian Protoss? We'll find out. As so far, things are pretty normal. We do not have a Forge First. We do not have a Gate Forge either, so TriGGeR is not looking to Cannon Rush. I'd be surprised if he did on a new map, just because I don't know if Cannon Rushes have been figured out quite yet. Again, the new map pool is less than a week old. Meanwhile, Jim did not open up with an early pool. He did open up with a hatch gas pool opening, so very economic, very standard. Oh boy. Meanwhile, as people are saying in the chat, !Maturino, if you want to help support the tournaments, you can use code NAVLA50 to add $1 for free to the prize pool. Speaking of, massive shout out, lots of love to Lord Loken. Lord Loken, he supported GPO last night, and now he is adding $30 of his own money to Battle of the Americas, boosting that prize pool. Gracias. Gracias, Lord Loken. Thank you so much, Papa Loken. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support. I should say, the players appreciate the support. I know they love you for it. Me and Micah especially, in the GPOs and MEC weeklies. So thank you. That does mean that this week's weekly tournament, usually a prize pool of 50 USD, is now 80. So thank you so much, as that will help out the top 2 performing players, which is both TriGGeR and JimRising, as they will be walking away with a little bit of extra prize money today. As things are kicking off, JimRising goes in, he scouts, he sees the Stargate. Shock. Horror. Who'd have thought? Stargate opening. My god. Mein Gott. So TriGGeR once again is going for a Void Ray. I mean, he's been doing it every game this series. Big surprise. Other than, of course, the game that he cannon rushed. And yo, able to kill a drone. And some scouting information. He confirms that JimRising isn't doing anything crazy. He confirms that there are drones here at the natural, so there isn't anything like a big Bane bust on the way that we saw in game number 4 on Jagannatha or anything like that. So TriGGeR, he can rest easy and he can drone up. Probe up, I should say. Apologies, I'm a Zerg player. I say drone up and drones a lot when I mean workers. Meanwhile, we do have the first Void Ray coming out here for TriGGeR. Ooh, second Void Ray on the way as well. And we'll see if a Twilight Council gets thrown down, as TriGGeR is being a little bit defensive, more so than usual. What I mean by that is that, okay, as Jim is sending a massive wave of links trying to take out this third base, and it looks like he will be able to force a denial. Cancel. What? No. Jim gets a kill. TriGGeR, please. TriGGeR's falling apart, mate. Oh my god. Here in the ace match is not the time to choke, as TriGGeR loses that third. 400 minerals down the drain. That is not what we want to be seeing here in the ace match, mate. Meanwhile, we got a massive wave of links coming across the map for JimRising, looking to try and hit and break into that natural. There is a sentry here, so force fields will be available for TriGGeR. I say force fields will be available. Oh god. Okay. The links are pushing their way in. The Stalker does stay alive. And again, nothing but sentries, no adepts here. Very interesting decisions here by TriGGeR. He already has 3 sentries. They are going to be banking up that energy, and we see why. TriGGeR went for +1 and is not going for charge. He is going for Blink Stalkers, people. Oh my. And here we go. We got more gateways being thrown down. So this is something that was a lot more popular in the third half of 2020. Before the Void Rays. A lot of Protoss players were going +1 Blink Stalker. Biggest one, Darkness. God, Darkness and Stats. Well, Darkness took after Stats. Stats popularized it. He would go +1 Blink Stalker. And with Blink Stalkers, you can trade so well against Roaches, against Lings, against Queens. You have so much micro potential. There's a lot that you can get done. We saw it a lot on Pillars of Gold, I believe. So yeah, we'll see how TriGGeR is able to execute this build, and if it catches JimRising off guard, because he has not scattered this at all. He has no idea what kind of army composition TriGGeR is going for. Oh, and Jim is pushing across the map. He is going for a waddle, going for a stroll with his queens, just going across. And to be fair, I mean, the resistance isn't that big. There are slow zones, of course. But look at this ground army. Jim, turn around. You don't want to fight this. This is not going to work out for you, buddy. Oh, God. The force fields are thrown down. Ravager shots are used, and the queens are focusing down the void rays. Yo, they're doing pretty well so far. The problem is that as soon as this shield battery finishes up, overcharge will be available. Oh, but it will be piled down immediately. Here we go. Lings are rushing across the map. So are the roaches, so are the queens. Is this going to be enough to break TriGGeR? Oh, the immortal does immediately go down. Honestly, that's pretty huge. Meanwhile, more stalkers are being morphed in. +1 just kicked in for the stalkers, and overcharge will be available with all these shield batteries towards the back. I don't know if Jim can really break this. He's trying to focus down the robo, but overcharge is being used, and the shield battery will keep the robo alive. My God, and with that, even the immortal pops out, and yo, TriGGeR is just slamming this down. Like, he is not falling whatsoever. Sure, TriGGeR is losing a couple of immortals here and there, and the void rays fall as well, but that doesn't even matter because the stalkers reign supreme. The stalkers with blink and +1 are what matter, and now that TriGGeR has crushed the army, he can go across the map and go for a counterattack. Not just with his blink stalkers. Here we go. A War Prism just finished up for TriGGeR as well. And what does Jim have? He has roaches. Pure roaches. Not even with Ravagers. Ay, ay, ay. And this is what Blink Stalkers wants. He wants to fight roaches right now. And again, Jim needs Lings, but the Lings are not ready. The Biles don't even land. We see an aggressive Blink forward. TriGGeR, he's popping up right now. We have an Immortal. We have another Warp in as well. The War Prism is here to keep everything alive, even keeps the Immortal alive. Ay, ay, ay. And Jim blindly went for this Queen Roach Ravager push, assuming that there were going to be Void Rays to defend. Had no idea that there were Blink Stalkers. GG gets called, and TriGGeR takes the series. Congratulations, TriGGeR is our Battle of the Americas champion. He stumbled a little bit. He was up 2-0 against JimRising, and we thought that it was going to be a straight up 3-0, straight up clean sweep. But no, JimRising fought back, almost made the reverse sweep happen. He was able to bring it back all the way to the ace match. And I was worried for TriGGeR, especially because TriGGeR, he slipped up a little bit and he even lost his third base. He didn't cancel it. It was a kill, if you recall. I was worried so much for TriGGeR, but TriGGeR, he was able to close it out. A lot of it also came down to Jim. Again, Jim didn't scout his opponent blindly. He was going for this big, essentially all-in push. It was very committed with Lings, Roaches, Ravagers, and Queens. And when we saw that it wasn't going, well, again, like, when he saw those stalkers and the ground focus army, I'm sure his heart plummeted a little bit. I'm sure it was not what he expected to see. He was hoping maybe Zealots. He was hoping for a repeat of Beckett Industries. I'm sure that's what he was hoping for, and that is not what he saw. There were plenty of stalkers, Blink Stalkers with +1, with Immortals, with Overcharge, with shield batteries, with that amazing defensive position. And TriGGeR was able to take the game, take the series. He takes everything, and he is our champion. GG. And there we go. That is it for our tournament today. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. I apologize if I stumbled a little bit towards the end there in that ace match. I did not expect to solo cast the entire tournament today. It is not something that I usually do, and it is not something that I advise. Specifically because here at the CranKy Ducklings, we have 2 tournaments a day over the weekend. Yesterday we casted Sentimiento Latino, Copa Hyperion, as well as GPO. Today we just casted Battle of the Americas, and we will be getting straight into ESL Open Cup Asia. As you can see on the screen right here, right now, there it is. ESL Open Cup Asia does start in 15 minutes. Oh boy, oh boy. You know what? I'll just set this up here. 12, 10 p.m. There it is. Oh, wait, what? if I do this? Sorry, 1. In 24 minutes, we will be live with ESL Open Cup Asia. Of course, the signups and check-ins close in 15 minutes, and then we have 10 minutes to actually get the players ready and vetoes and all that stuff. So yes, if you enjoyed the broadcast and if you want some more StarCraft, in 24 minutes, we will be live with ESL Open Cup Asia. I'll be casting that alongside Yakuzaku. I see Yakuzaku in the chat. He just had breakfast. He is ready to cast. I am about to go and have breakfast. I'm going to go set up the stream and get ready to broadcast. It's going to be a time. my voice is almost worn out, but I should be fine. I should be fine. Like, casting is so much easier with a co-caster. You have no idea. Especially when it comes to your voice. But yes, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you had an amazing time. For those wondering, Battle of the Americas is a weekly tournament. Every single week we are here with some Latin America versus North America action. So if you enjoyed the broadcast, if you enjoyed the tournament, and if you want to see more of it, then be sure to hit that follow button. Follow the CranKy Ducklings on Twitch. Follow us on social media if you want to be updated on when we go live, when we post our own tournaments, whenever we have news about the team in general. You can be up to date with Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you are interested in some of our tournaments and you can't tune in live, then check us out on YouTube, because we upload all of our VODs to our YouTube channel. All of our VODs are also available on Twitch as well if you are interested in that. We are all over the place. You can also join our Discord server if you want to interact with us, interact with the CranKy Ducklings and our community, as we are all there. Myself, Yakuzaku, Kuro, Daunted, everyone is there. Steel Mold. So if you want to be a part of that, then you can do so as well. If you want to support us monetarily, then you can by subscribing. We also have a Patreon as well if you want to support us that way. All the money that we earn via subscribers or Patreon goes towards our own events, as we run and fund our own tournaments. And we have something else in store for everyone coming soon, TM, later on this month. So keep an eye on our social media for when the announcement happens, because mate, it's pretty big. We have some big plans for 2021. So yeah, if you're a fan, then you should be excited. Anticipation. Oh my god. Speaking of which, thank you so much. Oh my god. Naya Lamppost. Okay. What does that mean? A Naya Lamppost. Thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime. We appreciate it. Quack. Thank you so much for the support. And I have rambled on long enough, because you know what? Now it's 20 minutes away. I gotta go get ready for the broadcast. The stream will go down and we will go live once again in 10 minutes with ESL Open Cup Asia. So stick around if you want to tune into that. Otherwise, we will raid another StarCraft 2 streamer, give them plenty of love and support. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Bye. See you guys soon.